Good evening. They received praise and public recognition when they voted no against the removal of the presidential age limit in 2017. Since then, these members of parliament have been vocal in calling for a power transition from President Yoweri Museveni to another leader. However, last week, it seems some of these members turned against their words and apologized for their actions and have since picked forms to stand as members of parliament on the NRM party ticket. Tonight we host Lwemiyaga County MP Theodore Ssekikuubo, Buyaga West MP Barnabas Tinkasimire, and Kassanda North MP Patrick Nsamba. Gentlemen, thank you so much for having honored our invitation. And I must say, the three of you tonight, the country's spotlight is on you, because Ugandans are anticipating to hear from you, because for many years you stood on firm ground of speaking the truth. You pointed out the ills in the NRM government, the Honorable Theodore Ssekikuubo. And when we hear the chief executive of the country saying that you went to State House in Tebe to apologize, and I'm thinking, in whatever you did or what I heard you say, there was nothing apologetic about it. So, apologize for what?
Thank you, and good evening, viewers. You see, you've said it, even from the preamble, that when we stood firm, we were hailed. And those words you added. The question is, by who? I would ideally imagine whatever we did, we're representing the people. And that is the bottom line. Now, whether we took positions, nobody registered it. How come that when we took the position we did, for instance, on Article 102B, you did not invite us to say, come on, now you've been hailed? You didn't, Mr. Patrick.
Honorable Ssekikuubo, perhaps you have a short memory, because many times you're on this show against other people on this show during the debate on 102B amendment.
If I can have a moment, probably to develop the point, at that stage, you did not invite me to hail me. Yes, we're meeting here on various occasions. It's true. But for purposes of saying, because you've taken a particular position, therefore you are hailed, we want to inform you that the people are with you, that they have posted you well, you are good. It didn't occur to me that way. Because what we did and what we continue to do is to raise issues as we see them. You see, it has gone on to some stretch where even members of the different and opposite political parties are now quick to say, now look, we had thought they were strong, but we did not even sit in the first place to agree on a position that later have changed from that position. We did not sit down to say that you move from NRM, you take that position because we are also pushing this side. We didn't. But to my surprise is the way it is being turned around.
Now, by the way, the chairman of your party, the chief executive of this country, said some rebel MPs went to him to apologize for the actions. He is the vanguard of honor. And when he stands to say that you, the 17 of you, went to apologize, let me ask, did you apologize?
Now let me tell you. The problem is putting the situation or quoting it out of context. Totally out of context. When we met the president, I've seen the photo you've shown. We had a cordial meeting. We had a fruitful discussion. By the way, we talked about a lot of issues, talking about Africa, Uganda, Africa, and the world, and on many issues. Now, when all that culminates into an apology, then I'm surprised. I think we had...
Are you surprised that I'm asking this question, or you're surprised that the Secretary General of your party, Justin Kasule Lumumba, said you apologized? The chief executive, the chairman of your party, said you apologized. You're surprised by me?
I'm surprised by the way the media has spinned it, as if to put it that the sole purpose for the meeting was to afford members an opportunity.
There are other things, but yes, there are other things agreed. But this particular part of the interest, Honorable Theodore Ssekikuubo, is that your Secretary General of NRM says that you apologize. In fact, he even demands, apart from apologizing in words, you also have to put it on paper.
And that one should be better left to the Secretary General. If in this matter he's the one who is the complainant, if in this matter she's the one aggrieved, if it is the chairman of the party who is aggrieved by our conduct, I think the party has mechanisms within which to pursue a member who has erred. But in this particular respect, Patrick, we had an opportunity to meet the president, like indeed we've been having. Patrick, I may remind you that earlier this year, we were at State House. We attended the NEC meeting. It's the second most highest meeting we have. We attended the delegates conference. Why didn't people raise issues with that? Because you remember, we had issues with the retreat at Chankwanzi, but earlier this year, we attended the NEC meeting at State House. We attended the delegates conference at Nambole, and there were no issues. Now, how come that, and indeed there have been many opportunities and on many occasions who have visited the president. So you may probably enlighten me on this. How come that this time around when we call on him, and I want to assure you that a lot of people are having their own issues. Other parties, they have defections from their parties, but in order to cover up that, they have to hype the meeting of the so-called rebel MPs with the president, even when it is not the president or the chairman of the party who has come out to complain, even when the Secretary General is not complaining, is not on record complaining. So I'm wondering, what is it this time around that is out of the ordinary? Now, if it is for the issues, let's discuss them. If you have them, let's debate them.
No, by the way, let me go to Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, and not that because I am convinced of what you have told me, but because I just have to take a pause on that, because other guests also have to be able to be given the opportunity to speak. No one is complaining. I am quoting your party leaders, Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, and the media is quoting your party leaders, saying that you, the 17 of you, including yourself, sir, went to State House and Entebbe to apologize. And in fact, the Vice President NRM East, the Honorable Mike Mukula, even put it more candidly, that because you realize that NRM is such a powerful juggernaut that you cannot swim against, you have had to eat your humble pie.
Well, anybody can choose to speak what they want, even against our conviction. Our conviction is that we are NRM, and we are not about to leave NRM. We freely joined. My senior colleague, Theodore Ssekikuubo, joined earlier than me. I was still in the public service, so I had to wait to leave public service because I was not like these civil servants we see today who will even adorn party colors when they are still serving civil servants. After resigning from public service, that's when I joined NRM. Nobody even persuaded me. I would have joined my father's party, DP. I chose to join NRM. But when you are in NRM, they think NRM should operate like a patron-client political party. We are no, I don't think that, I believe that NRM is a political party that is patron-client relationship. No. I believe I am a member who has rights and I must participate. Participate in the activities. When all those things are denied, that's when we have issues. Indeed, we held the meeting with the president. It is very, very unfortunate that the meeting of over 3-4 hours can be reduced to a statement which was not even, it did not even finish. It did not finish even a minute, even half a minute. But you reduce the entire 4 hours of serious discussion on building NRM party with the party chairman, to a mere apology. If it was tendered, it was an icebreaker, and an icebreaker to spice up the meeting.
But you see, majority, if not all, of the members of parliament who are meeting President Yoweri Museveni that day are those who said no to Article 102B from being amended.
We have reasons why we chose to go and meet him. Everybody was rumoring against us that we are about to leave NRM. For instance, me, because I had been associating with my colleagues in the movement of people power, they said, he's already a coordinator of Bunyora Fair, he's not going to return to NRM, as if I had actually left NRM. I never left NRM, and I want to state.
So you want to tell us, Honorable Barnabas, that the 17 of you, those who voted against the removal of the presidential age limit, went to State House in Tebe and talk about Pan-African affairs and things like that.
We talked about the party ideology.
But why the 17, the Rebel MPs?
No, of course, because there are issues.
Yes, because you disagreed with your party chairman, and you want to put the record straight, and you had to swallow your humble pie. That's what happened.
Patrick, our meeting at State House could not have been over Article 102B. Because that was way past. We had outlived that.
But there's a common thread of the 17.
What is a common thread?
You said no to Article 102B.
No, Patrick,
that is a foregone event. We cannot discuss it at this particular time.
But it has ramifications for you when you go to the elections
we can raise
in 2021.
Kamara, we can talk about it when we again do not agree on the issues that we discussed. We discussed about party ideology. NRM has 4 party ideologies: Pan-Africanism, patriotism, socio-economic transformation, democracy. Democracy not only at the national level, as we participate with other political parties, but also internal democracy.
So were you not grounded in the ideology, the 17 of you, that the chairman found it fitting that the 17 of you should be brought in so that they can sharpen your understanding of the party ideology?
But it was not a lecture form. You must know that it was not a lecture form, it was a discussion.
Okay, before I bring your Honorable Nsamba Patrick here, why did you have to, why the 17? Why the 17?
Can I answer you, Patrick?
Yes.
In fact, even then, there were several meetings. Even other groups of members of parliament had other meetings and engagements with the president. But for today's sake, who set the agenda? Who said, why is it is being singled out in matters of apology? I thought in a political party, must you first belong to the opposition for you to be critical? For you to look at the issues critically, must you first belong to the opposition?
To tell the truth.
Have you heard from
for you to come out and say the truth?
Have you heard from your own Secretary General? Have you heard from your own Vice President East? These are the party leaders. When they say,
but I wanted to make
honorable members of parliament, these are your leaders. When they stand and speak, we have to listen to them. We are inclined to listen to them because they are elected leaders of the party. And when they say you went to apologize because you have realized there's an election and you are going to lose if you are not on the wave of the NRM, we have to believe it.
All right, I can understand what you are talking about. But that is meant to scatter and scatter the efforts of party members meeting their chairman. Why didn't you at any other particular time point out that you members from now onwards, from now onwards, don't go to meet the party chairman. Don't associate at all. So that now the public will say you are strong. You never issued
But
us
let me
those
refresh
guidelines.
your mind. Let me ask my producer, because I remember when you called him Rulira Munyana, if that's the language of the cattle keeping community, meaning the person or the cow that does not want to grow, which is staying in the cow. Please.
But I didn't mean that.
Okay, let's play that. Let me
Is-
refresh
is-
your mind a little
is-
bit.
is it
Let
for
me
purposes-
refresh your
if
mind
you
a little
play
bit.
it.
No.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it for
let's-
purposes of?
No,
Is it for
because
purposes
I just
of?
want to see
What are you
the
driving at?
ideological difference that had started.
No, what are you trying to drive at?
No, let's listen to
To
it.
draw the wage?
No, let me
I
play
thought
it.
this program would be.
He's now the remaining Rulira Munyana, the eldermost amongst the young leaders. And he's the mentor of all the problems around us here, because he feared to be left alone and lonely on the path.
Who is the mentor of all the problems around you. You're using the word Rulira Munyana. The other cow that does not want to grow is always in the cows.
No.
And here you are eating your humble pie with him and saying, I'm
You are
sorry.
blowing
Sorry
it,
for what?
You are blowing out of proportion. Because I didn't imagine that coming here was to bring all the we had gone through. You see, because you've not told us at what stage was that statement made, at least for the viewers. Because you would have said after this moment, after this action, you rose and put up this. Now, I didn't think that this was an opportunity for exchanging the vitriolic opening wounds. I didn't imagine this. I didn't imagine that this was the way
Theodore,
you are leading this discussion.
Honorable Theodore.
And let me assure you,
Yes.
Patrick, like in any other democracy, you agree and sometimes you disagree. At one point, you find your view is the minority, but at a future date, probably your position and your view could be the majority.
I'll take that.
Now, for
I'll
you
take
to
that.
say that since you had a disagreement, to hell, you would have said to hell with Museveni, to
no,
hell with
no, I'm only
movement.
asking.
You shouldn't have
I'm
gone
only
back.
asking, when did you reach your Damascus turnaround?
No. You are creating it. I'm surprised.
Okay,
Kamara.
gentlemen,
Did we leave?
Gentlemen, with all fairness, I have to bring in
Did
my,
you-
my,
Kamara, hold on.
my
But did
namesake.
you? Why do you
with,
create
with
it?
all respect,
Hold-
let me bring in
hold
my
on,
namesake.
Kamara.
Honorable Patrick
Damascus is
Nsamba.
is
Honorable
too
Patrick
big.
Nsamba. Let
A
me bring in my
Damascus is
namesake.
too big.
No,
It's
let me
not
bring
the
in my
equivalent.
namesake.
It's not the equivalent.
We still have an hour here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Honorable Nsamba,
Yes.
I knew you as an inherent member of parliament. Maybe I was wrong.
Yes.
And you appeared here in a red beret, joining a group that actually want to stop the end, to end an era and begin another. So what is going on?
To begin with, I want to say that I'm one of the young people that was inspired by Honorable Ssekikuubo and Honorable Tinkasimire. And I hold them with a lot of respect. And
You are not alone, by the way.
I hold them with a lot of respect, and many Ugandans do. Having said that, you're asking me why I'm in a red beret. We are in, the reason why we are having this discussion is just because of the way our politics is being managed. We are in a politics where we have a master and the followers. If I understand very well, because we talked about this, when we had the amendment, there was a big opportunity to create a breakaway within the NRM. Thanks to Honorable Ssekikuubo, he always say, people, go slow. Because we all look at him. We had a lot of chances because some of us are not as patient as he is. But he's a very patient man. He tells you, you people, let's go slow. Let us cause the change here. And it is because of that statesmanship in him that all these meetings happened. I chose not to go in those meetings because I never trusted the people who are going to meet. Why didn't I trust them?
Honorable Patrick, you don't trust your own chairman.
Exactly. I'm telling you. The reason why I never trusted them.
Before these men for whom you have a lot of respect,
The
you are saying, and before the people of Uganda,
that's why
you
I'm
don't
telling.
trust your own chairman.
That's why I'm telling you, I hold Honorable Ssekikuubo with a lot of respect because of his patience. Some of us young people are as not patient as him.
Patience pays.
Maybe patience will pay. But he's a very patient man. He's holding this entire group that wants to break our way to form its political party, but he's the man who says, please, let us try to cause the change within the party. So, one of the reasons why I chose not to go in that meeting, the SEC meeting was supposed to be there on a Sunday. They postponed it, and between the postponement to Thursday, they invited rebel MPs for a meeting. I was invited. But because I'd already indicated to the people of Kassanda North that this time round I want to represent you not on NRM flag, I chose not to mix them up. I asked our leader, Honorable Ssekikuubo, and the rest of the group that please excuse me.
The leader of the Abajemu, the rebel.
No, not the Abajemu, the leader of the group that wants a better country, country
they
managed.
have been called the rebels.
Whatever they want to
the
call
renegade.
us, whatever they want to call us. But at least we consult with him. I told them, I said, members, excuse me, I may not attend that meeting because it can be spinned in a wrong direction. And I want to say I was right. At the discussion of why are we meeting the president, it was about reconciliation. And all political parties everywhere, there will be disagreements. All political parties, including in this country, there will be disagreements, Patrick. Now, how these disagreements are handled, people come to you in your state house, they discuss with you, and they feel happy to run the country when they're making a contribution. And for you, you get out in the media and you say, this gentleman came and apologized to me. Really? Is that what we expected out of the president? And when I heard him spin it that way, I knew.
Why do you call it a spin?
It was a spin.
But you were not in that meeting.
It was. I wasn't in the meeting. I wasn't in the meeting. But I knew very well that what happened in the meeting was a discussion on how they have... by the way, this discussion should have happened immediately after the amendment of Article 102B. Somebody who minds putting the party together. But because they made our political parties task forces for elections, that's why this meeting is coming at this particular point in time. Now, some of us, like me, Patrick Nsamba,
I think you are wise.
I hold the Honorable Ssekikuubo with a lot of respect, but I disagree with his patience. He's too patient. He has highlighted critical matters within the NRM that must be changed, that this political party can live beyond President Museveni, that this political party can be managed as an institution. Now, where we as young people, where we come to say, there is no hope that President Museveni is going to change from the king he is within the NRM to let the NRM be run as an institution. Now, the Secretary General should have been at least among the people who would have talked about forgiveness, who would have talked about apology. Should have never have been the Secretary General. The Secretary General would have come out jubilating that among my members, we have reconciled. The right statement would have been, we have reconciled with the people we had a disagreement with. That would be the statement if those people were honest. But because they're not honest people, they came out to say, now the king is appearing to have won the battle. It must come out that the president has won the battle. But there was no battle. It was a disagreement that needed to be. And by the way, I'm seeing this in all political parties, Patrick. You can imagine Norbert Mao meeting the people he's having disagreement with, and after that meeting, Norbert Mao comes up jubilant saying, they have apologized to me. When they have reconciled, the right statement for me would have been a reconciliation, that there was an agreement, a disagreement, which has been solved. And every person, every member within the NRM or other political party would have taken this as a point to learn from. So for me, I think it was because of the dishonesty of our leaders. That's why this thing is spinned to this level.
Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, you are a man of substance. And when you speak, Buyaga West listens. And the people of Buyaga West sent you to Parliament and told you know what, when it comes to the amendment of the Constitution, we are saying no. And probably now the NRM line is different, and you're going back to them perhaps to ask a mandate to lead. I wonder how you're going to be juggling that this is how I voted, but then the NRM leadership and the NRM entire machinery is thinking otherwise. Won't that become a problem for you in Buyaga?
Well, I am glad that now we are going back to the people. The people gave me instructions where I consulted widely, and I executed their instructions to the letter. We are returning to them. I am a candidate in that evaluation.
You are aspiring to return
yes.
them.
They are going to give us an evaluation marks and say either Tinkasimire return, this is because you did what we did, what we told you, you did it very well, please carry on. And many others. Of course, the issue of the president, as much as people are going to ask us, are you going to support him? Are you not going to support him? The critical thing is about the voters. Because the whole thing is about them. Me, I hold one vote. Even if I give it to him or I withdraw it from him, it may be insignificant. So these people who are now going to put us on the weighing scale, our expectation was that when you reach 75 years, you are going to retire. That now is for the voters. It's for the voters. So for me, I am going there to defend my seat and tell them I did my part. The rest is yours. You will ask me.
But in the defense of your seat,
are you not going to defend your party in your constituency? Yes, I will, because I belong to NRM. I belong to NRM. But what I will have to do is tell them the truth, that NRM has done ABCD and here it has not performed. The reasons are ABCD. And if the voters buy that, certainly they will vote me and vote NRM.
Honorable Theodore, what do you tell the people whose analysis is like, you looked at where you are going and you realize that you are swimming against the current? The NRM juggernaut is so big that unless you come back to the lane like they say you did, you realize that your chances are almost zero to come back to Parliament, and that's why you have had to eat your own words.
You see, Patrick, I beg from you now, which words of mine have I eaten? You can clarify. Is it part of the election manifesto? Which words? You could be sincere to the viewers, at least to me. When you say I've eaten my own words, I'm at a loss. I think. Look at.
You want me to play all the words?
No.
You want me to go back into my archives? I could bring them back.
I would request that you do not play vitriolic caps, which you have which you prepared for your own reasons. Now, is it true? Can you also play at one point to say that having disagreed with the party, with the position of the party, say in Parliament, therefore have quit? I request you play it. So that, because that would constitute that I've eaten my own words I've eaten my humble pie, and I've come back. If there is anywhere you show that indeed at a particular point in time I said quits, you would be the first, and I'm glad if you can pay that. But also number two, do you find a homogeneous thinking in this society? Or probably when they had disagreements within FDC, one faction moved on to form and one group stayed in FDC. Is this what you had anticipated also in NRM? To say that because you've disagreed on one point, therefore Ssekikuubo and your colleagues, it's now time for you to depart and form something or join something. And this is what has surprised me with all other commentators. Even people who are looking on as their own members. 8 members of FDC have decamped. Now, instead of Honorable Ibrahim commenting about the loss of his members,
8.
The 8 of them, he's busy haranguing and berating the so-called rebel. Did we sign any memorandum? Or, if at all in our point of representation, if in our roles of representation, we seem to converge on a particular point, does that mean an alliance? Does that mean that we have decamped from NRM? Probably. That's why I think that probably Honorable Nsamba had a point and saw it all. To me, up to now, I'm surprised at how an engagement with the party leadership, the chairman of SEC, the chairman of NEC, the chairman of the National Conference, the chairman of the party, our internal dialoguing, probably there are things we had seen differently. And probably we had the opportunity to also put him on board on our side. Fortunately, the Secretary General attended that meeting. She would probably have come out to enlighten the world. But the way you say that the moment you have a divergence with the party,
that's not the issue.
No.
That's not
quit.
divergence.
Coming back, you are eating your own humble pie.
I'm not even talking about quit.
So how did
I'm talking about your chairman and your Secretary General telling us that you went to apologize for something
how did it come up to be?
And you inspired other Ugandans to follow.
No,
and I'm asking what
how did you characterize that as Damascus, as eating a humble pie? At what point had you registered us with another party?
Because when you apologize, then you
registered us with another party?
When you apologize, Honorable Theodore, is it because you have reached a realization that what you said or did was wrong?
Let me help in this. Let me help in this.
By the way,
let me help you be understood.
The words of the apology are from your party leaders. And I'm quoting them. I'm from your party leaders.
And that is true.
And that's what they said.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying, unless you're telling me your leaders are liars, your leaders, this is what they said. And I'm asking, there is nothing you did or you said that I had that demanded an apology.
Patrick.
And
from
actually,
the time we started this show,
yes,
can you recollect even the number of times you have said, I'm sorry, from the time we started this show? But is you are saying sorry meant to apologize to anybody or to make sure that the meeting or our point of discussion on the hotspot today flows very well? I have said, and I still submit, that if there was any sorry tendered, was a nice break, a nice breaker to proceed well with the meeting. But it was not part of our records.
But sometimes the haze has to be broken. But gentlemen,
can I come in at this
yes,
stage?
Gentlemen.
Can I come in at this stage? Since when did you spin this out of context?
actually,
what agenda did you set for the meeting that you are saying the agenda for this meeting? Even Honorable Nsamba here can tell, because he originally had been invited for that meeting. At what stage did you find it that at that meeting with the president, the issue was to apologize? The issue was a Damascus.
Actually,
the issue was
let me come in there.
I'm really surprised.
Surprised by their own party leaders.
Surprised the way you have hyped it.
On Patrick.
Patrick, what I need to tell Honorable Ssekikuubo, he himself went for good reasons.
That's what you think?
For that meeting.
That's what you think?
And it was purely for good reasons. Because he has never believed in breaking away. I'm telling you this. I'm sorry to express this before the public. But the intention of the person who invited the meeting was a different intention. His intention was to say that these people have finally, because after the meeting, he came out, tweeted about the same. He said, rebel MPs have apologized. And he presented the same statement to the Central Executive Committee, instead of making a statement where he says, we met with the rebel MPs, we have reconciled our differences, and there's no more difference.
Can I give you
now,
some small information?
when I hear...
Just a moment.
A small moment.
Yes,
in fact, from our meeting as we were departing, the chairman of the party, the president, said, in fact, I'm going to inform SEC about this meeting I've had with you.
Yes.
That is the statement he told. I'm going to inform SEC about this meeting.
That's not different from what he's saying.
Exactly.
He's now saying the words he said to
now,
the
when the Secretary General comes out in
an
public
issue, it wasn't a case.
to demand a written apology from members of her own party who have never been sent to any disciplinary committee, because within the NRM, if you're indisciplined, if you did something wrong, there is a disciplinary committee. None of the 17 have ever been sent to the disciplinary committee. None. So on which grounds is she demanding apology? The Secretary General. On which demand? On which grounds? On which grounds? On which accusations does the president, can he come out to the public to say that these people apologized to me? What wrong did they do? And for me, that's why I say
Honorable Nsamba.
Honorable Ssekikuubo means well. The 17 means well. But the party president is on elections. He's just playing politics.
Gentlemen, hold on to your points, because we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to dig deep into this issue. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guests tonight are Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, Honorable Theodore Ssekikuubo, and Honorable Patrick Nsamba. And we're talking about the 17 who went to State House in Tebe and later turned out from their leaders that they had gone there to apologize. And they want to move away from that because we have put a lot of time on it. But now I just want to change gears, Honorable Theodore Ssekikuubo. The president, you did not want to stand again because you were against the removal of the age limit, has now picked nomination forms and probably he's into becoming a candidate. After all, the NRM endorsed him as a sole candidate. Are you going to campaign for him?
No, that is premature, Patrick. We shall see from NRM how many people pick up those forms, the presidential nomination forms, and when we reach that stage, we can choose to decide what to do. But having said that...
When is that ending? When is the timetable for picking nomination form for presidential candidates?
Within NRM? No, but you're aware we even went to court. Mr. Patrick, only when you would choose to report selectively. But when the president was declared sole candidate, we took the matter to the Constitutional Court. You're aware.
Yes.
At least we did not sit by. We tried the best we could in our means. And that's why my surprise...
So you still have a lot of hope that one amongst you is probably going to pick nomination forms to run against the president, and that's when you can make your judgment among the two whom you're going to support. Is that what you're telling us tonight?
Let's look at it this way. Let the process be transparent and democratic. If President Museveni, from amongst the party members, he's chosen, or if the days for picking nominations elapses and he is sole, then we would have said that he is the candidate for the NRM. What we fought against was when the Central Executive Committee and the caucus...
Okay, we don't have a candidate yet, but as an aspirant for the presidency, does he have your support?
But that is out of anticipation. It depends
He's
on...
aspiring to lead again. Does he have your support?
All right. But that should be within the party. If Patrick Nsamba, Patrick Kamala have picked nomination forms, we look at them. But now you are in anticipation. You are saying he's won. But having moved away from that, what we detested was the ring fencing for the President Yoweri Museveni to be the sole candidate for 2021 and beyond. And we said that was against the party, NRM party constitution and the national constitution. And that's how we rose and challenged it in the Constitutional Court. Now, the outcome of that, if he emerges as the person that has been chosen when our concerns are addressed, then he would emerge the candidate and we shall, as members, be obliged to support him. But can we have the internal democratic processes within? Can also democracy thrive even when you have a strong candidate within your party? Can there be an open nominations? And if he's declared unopposed, then at that stage we rest our case. And I think the process is equally important. And it's what you should not overlook, Patrick, if you are sincere. And at that point, if the members of the party feel that he's the candidate, so be it.
They should have asked for an injunction to stop the picking of the nomination forms until your case is disposed of.
No.
Because now that's going to be overtaken.
No, we've had a ruling, we've had a judgment. Well, incidentally, even when Patrick Nsamba was still part of the team of NRM that challenged that, and we lost by 3-2. It doesn't mean that we had a bad case. It wasn't a hopeless case. But we are trying all these avenues. If we fail in the caucus and there is still a legal redress, we go for that. Not that we've shied away. And that's why I'm surprised. Even when we were in court, you know, the people who are now expressing dismay did not accompany us. As we were battling it in court, they didn't. Probably in parliament were different parties. But even when we chose to move to court now, to the Constitutional Court, we did not see them. But now all of a sudden, they are expressing dismay. And that's what is confusing.
Because,
and that's why I was
because
thinking,
when you seem to be, human nature is that when you seem to be doing your job and you're doing it right, people will just, keep quiet. When they seem to think that you are messing, they'll rise up. Because nobody's just going to pat you on the back and thank you and whatever for doing your job. They think that is what you're supposed to be doing. You do it. But they watch you. When they think now you have veered off, they say, wait a minute, what is this you're doing? That's human nature.
If they remain watching from a safe distance, it's better they keep their safe distance. But if they were to encourage us to say that the position you've taken is the right one, we are with you, probably they would have been, surprised if we had turned around.
You wanted a pat on the back?
No, not that. Now, having not advised us to take the course we did, why are you more aggrieved than the people who took the position themselves? Who is complaining? Who is the aggrieved in this? Now, and it takes me back, Patrick. Must we always part ways? Must there be factions in FDC breaking out from different parties? Must there be factions in UPC to form different new parties? Is forming a new party the best panacea? Is it the best solution to the disagreements within parties? The moment you disagree, therefore, you must part ways, you must form your own parties. Now, that's why when it comes back to SEC, the one you are talking about, that SEC also has its own issues. Members of SEC some of them wanted some of our positions to stand against us. Probably they felt they would be better if we're out of the movement. And that's why they were continuing, hyping it, magnifying it. Why must you magnify the differences at a time when you are converging? And I think even Barnabas, the president was so strong on that point. The emphasis on convergence rather than divergence. And I thought that once we are moving towards convergence, as guided by the president and any other serious political party leader, it's no time for you to create wedge and you widen the differences.
Okay,
at this time.
Honorable Barnabas, the last time I checked, you were kind of coordinating the people power gospel in Bunyoro region. What were you coordinating?
People power, what I know about it is that it is a movement that talks about politics of change. And
you are coordinating change in Bunyoro?
Oh, hold on. I have been at the forefront from the time I entered NRM party, demanding for an internal political change. It's on record. And even our engagement with the president in the meeting, when we tell you we talked about party ideology, we were very excited and happy when we discussed those ideologies, and amongst them was the issue of democracy, particularly the internal democracy. We told them how it hurts us when we belong to a party and we continue to lead it without proper internal democracy. And we ended on a good note that we are now going to work together to make sure that we reduce the points of difference and concentrate at building a more strong party, a party that works for the ordinary person, and that's what we discussed. For me, belonging to a movement, it was sharing, and it did not mean there is no single day I ever said, fortunately, People Power is not a registered political party. Even the head of the political party, as we talk today, he's formed another new political party called National Unity Platform. Are you going to tell us, to submit to us, that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi has moved away from People Power to this new formation of the umbrella? Are you going to say that? I think my only
listen
to
that
me.
I see is that because I've had an opportunity at more than 2 or 3 occasions to speak to the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, I see ideological difference, viewpoints on how the leadership should be of this country. In fact, he wants regime change. So I was wondering, you, when you're coordinating in Bunyoro, with a man whose job really is to ensure that your chairman goes, how do you reconcile those two?
Of course, for
how are you reconciling those
other than have us talking about change, there are other issues within the movement that we have been talking about. We have been talking about the welfare of our people, that Ugandans must have decent housing. We are not going to tolerate a country.
Yes, but
listen to
the
me.
Movement of People Power has told us
you have
that
asked
they will
me
wear
what
the
I was
crown of
coordinating in
victory at
Bunyoro.
one point, and all these things will be settled when they wear that crown of victory. And is that what you are coordinating in Bunyoro? For them to wear the crown of victory, and now you're moving away?
Can you listen? Because you asked me what I was coordinating in Bunyoro, and I'm telling you what I was coordinating in Bunyoro, and it is on the ground. I was coordinating that in Bunyoro, people need decent housing. We are not going to tolerate a situation where NRM leads people for 34 years, and you find a man and his 7 children still living in one room. That's completely unacceptable. 2, we are not going to tolerate a situation where Ugandans or where the Banyoro cannot have 3 decent meals. These formed part of the revolution why Negroes in America had to fight. They were not even having a meal. This is what I was coordinating in Bunyoro. What I was coordinating in Bunyoro is that we must, as a mass party or as Ugandans, provide leadership that makes sure that every Ugandan has a capacity.
But what you're saying is an indictment on your own party, that you have given them more than 3 days of decades of leadership, and they have not done enough.
I am glad
so
I have not left the party.
Change of the status quo.
I am glad I have not left the party. I am still within the party, and I am going to push on to make sure that every Ugandan has a capacity to at least have money to be able, if you are a household, to make sure that you educate all the children you have capacity to pay fees for your children until they complete the education system.
Okay.
Have a capacity, at least if you have money, to be able, if any of them fell sick, you are able to pay the medical bills without selling the land or going to the bank. going to the bar.
But you know, with all respect, Honorable Barnabas, you know that even the elite Ugandans, even members of parliament, with all respect, here, if one of us, God forbid, fell sick, you may not even manage your own hospital bill, even if you are a member of parliament. In fact, I can see the government trying to look for money to help you, maybe take you to hospital, even if somebody, God forbid, is admitted in a hospital in Kampala. For 7 days, that will send you back into real poverty. Even the elite are living in perpetual vulnerability.
You have a point, Patrick.
And those are the things we should be discussing, Patrick.
Yes, but you have...
Those are the things we should be discussing,
thing is prevailing
both outside the party
the
and within the party.
That you support.
Other than coming here and we spend a complete hour saying Barnabas apologized. So what?
But that's,
so what?
That's what Chairman...
Apology is part of human life.
All right.
Can
you get me?
Honorable Patrick Nsamba.
Can I come in?
Patrick Nsamba, yes.
That's why I said here that my elder brothers are very patient and they should be respected for that. Some of us have seen in a short time, I, Patrick Nsamba, have observed that this country desires a chance, an opportunity to see transition of leadership. And there is no hope that as long as President Museveni is still alive, we see that. Not within NRM, not within Uganda. We have been yearning for democracy. We have been yearning for changes in the way our institutions are managed. We have been yearning for so many changes. President Museveni has made his contribution to this country. And he has refused to complete his revolution. And he must go on until he dies. Some of us are saying, no, we are not going to wait for you to die. We are saying, if we cannot have the change within, we are going to force the change from without. That's why I'm a proud supporter of Honorable Kyagulanyi.
So, okay, Honorable Kyagulanyi, are you really convinced that is the man who is going to cause the end of an era and the beginning of another?
Not necessarily that he is going to be the cause of the change we want. That will be far-fetched. But he is the starting point of the change we want. Why am I saying this?
So he's the John the Baptist.
Exactly. You may want to term him like that. Once we have a leader who has not come with guns, he is chosen by the people, by the power of the people. Trust me, if that leader disappoints people, the people will use the same power to remove him.
He's not punching above his weight?
That is for the naysayers. I want to assure you, many Ugandans believe that Uganda is ripe for change. And Honorable Kyagulanyi has come up to offer leadership in that area. And what he's offering is the leadership to cause the change we want, to start on the change we want. Because the beginning point is not now to go and pick on guns and fight President Museveni because he came with guns. It is time to gather all our efforts and say, President Museveni and your team and your regime, you came here, you've overstayed for 35 years, we're not giving you another 5 years.
You know, he is, in my view...
And I want to assure you,
he is,
Patrick,
in my view, a man of substance. And in my view, a man of good values. But does he have that momentum, that really, the wave that is going to carry forward? So that it can deliver
the
what
momentum,
you
the
desire.
momentum we need is not a momentum of guns. The momentum we need is for every Ugandan to believe that there is power they can use through an election to cause a change of any leader in this country. They should, as Ugandans, should believe in themselves wherever they are. That President Museveni came here, he was a nobody, he was somebody who believed in the change. Unfortunately, he has overstayed what he promised to Ugandans. Now, this is the time for us to go back to the drawing board and come up. What I like about Honorable Kyagulanyi is the determination. Many people see this. Many people out there, many good people, many good, like the people with the momentum. But the difference with them is Kyagulanyi is less fearful of the regime. He believes that we can gather efforts as Ugandans to cause the change. Nobody is going to come from anywhere to cause the change we want.
Okay.
So I want every Ugandan, wherever you are, to believe that as Ugandans, we can amass some effort, and the magic is not going to come from Honorable Kyagulanyi. It is going to come from us to make a decision. And I'm happy. When I move across the country, when I move in the villages, in the Mubende, where we've been supporting President Museveni, 97%, 87%. Now, when you go there, people believe that time has come for us to make a change.
Okay. Gentlemen, hold on to your points because we are going to take a break here. But when we come back, I'll open the lines. You're going to see the numbers on your screen. You can pick your phone and call us and tell us your name, where you're calling from, and should you disagree with respect, because that's how we do it here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest tonight, I have Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, Honorable Theodore Ssekikuubo, and Honorable Patrick Nsamba. And in this segment of our discussion, I'm going to open the lines so that you too can be a part of the debate. You'll see the numbers on the line, on a screen. You can pick your phone and tell us your name and where you're calling from, and keep it brief so that we are able to get as many interactions with the people viewing this program as possible. But now allow me to maybe change gears, because we are getting into an election they have called scientific. You're not having rallies, but you're maybe in a place like this on social media and other platforms. How is it going at the level of as aspirants? How are you handling that? How would you handle that? You're used of having big crowds in Buyaga West.
Well, honestly, the scientific election is going to be very complicated because they described that it will go on radio, TVs, and social media.
Luckily enough, you have your own radio. I've been to
I
it.
do, but I don't subscribe to this group which says I should have an unfair ground against my opponents. I would want to have a fair ground where my opponent does not have an opportunity to come to my radio, because even if he would have the opportunity, is paying me good money, I would say pay for off-peak hours like 3 a.m. in the morning when the voters are sleeping. He's talking to himself. You give him
so let's understand this. On your own radio
not fair.
On your own FM station in
It's
Kagadi,
not fair.
On your own FM station in the Buyaga West.
Yes.
Are we going to see you give your opponents equal time and share it?
No, they would have, because at the end of the day, we must win an election. And in the event that we are we have to use the same radio, there is a likelihood that they will not have the opportunity to use the prime time. That's where I'm saying maybe the manager will say, if my boss is coming in at 9, he's going to flow up to midnight. After midnight, that's when I can schedule these people. And you will find one of my opponents appearing at 3 a.m.
That will be unfair.
Very, very unfair.
So how would you create a fair ground?
I would want this opponent of mine to go how I wish we had done it like other countries, like Burundi, Malawi, Mali, South Korea, and now America, where they have allowed people to go in a campaign. You go and explain yourself, or cause a rally and explain yourself, even in the circumstances that you don't have any TV. And in any case, how many people view TVs, listen to radios, have phones, smartphones? Statistics show that there 16% of Ugandans have smartphones. And if they have smartphones, issues of network in many places, they will not even access what is going on.
Okay.
Issues of airtime, because these days they put even what is OTT, many things.
Okay, Honorable Theodore, how do you appreciate this scientific election?
Yes, you see, Patrick, the bottom line is creating a situation, a political situation, where the voters will have opportunity to interact with the candidates for them to make a better and informed choice. That should be the bottom line. Now, when you're going to have an election means people are giving their mandate to a particular leader for a period of 5 years. It is very, very important that you allow the minimum, the bottom line should be a varying opportunity to the various candidates to offer themselves and even to interact with those who the potential voters. And as you know, in our areas we come from, people look at how you are able to answer their questions, how you are able to stand and position yourself. They look you in the eye. And I'm afraid this might not be the case if we continue the way we are doing.
But the good thing that you are an incumbent and you have a certain proven record, and probably that can work for your
that
favor.
one you're talking about Ssekikuubo as an individual. But this is the question of 43 million Ugandans. And we are put in bad light, especially when our neighbors, for instance, Tanzania, they are going to have a general election in October. And they are freely opening up. So I'm sure by the time we reach, this is now July, I'm sure by the time we reach September and October, there will be full realization that the so-called scientific campaigns and election is not working. Have you seen today? Have you been to town today this afternoon and from morning? People on borders are carrying their passengers already. So I don't want a situation where the people are moving ahead of us. It's like a situation where you are on the traffic lights. You are ahead. The lights turn from red to yellow and green, meaning that you are free to move, but you continue there. People behind you will try to force their way, and as they are bypassing you, they will turn around to see what is this? What is happening? What is this person? Is this person sleeping when the world is moving on? So I don't want.
So you don't believe the world is facing an existential threat?
No. It can be controlled. I don't want to say that there is no COVID, but let's allow the minimum. The minimum kind of interaction.
Let me hear from Patrick, and then after that I will pick the calls.
Patrick, for me, since this COVID came, we've seen government trying to use it for their own benefit. If you look at the statistics of COVID cases in Uganda, you have 1,070 something, out of which 1,060 something have recovered. It tells you that even the chances for this disease, for people to live with it, because there is chances for recovery.
Sadly, understand now we have a death.
It's so unfortunate.
Of COVID case, so
unfortunate. But also we are having deaths from other so many cases. The problem we have is government to try to use it to their own advantage, and that's where the issues are. There is no cause for worry about the scientific. Once you open up for elections, elections are matters of emotions. Elections are matters of supporting your candidate. There is no way.
Considering what we have seen happening in South Africa, it is possible, gentlemen, that God forbid 3-4 weeks from now you'd be saying, look, I think we even need another lockdown, because what is happening in Southern Africa is really pretty much scary.
Yes.
Even in Kenya.
That's what I'm saying. That if you really looked at it and say it is this existential threat, then you should have put hold on elections to say, let us first deal with this, let us first study this situation. But the problem there is, these people are just trying to play, using COVID to play their game.
If you did that, and
you have a minister, Patrick, a minister of health, and all ministers, by the way, in this country, who sit in cabinet to make decisions about...
But if you declare a state of emergency, and 6 months elapse outside the expiry of your term of office, I think the Constitution says now maybe the Speaker takes up the leadership.
No, maybe we do not.
We may find ourselves in a real...
We may not,
because if you declare 6 months of emergency, and that emergency elapses after the expiry of the term of office of the President, what happens?
Patrick, do you recall that, for instance, the constitutional amendment on Article 1052 was by a backbencher then, Honorable Raphael Majezi? If the entire country could focus on an amendment by one individual, even within this, we would have taken interest in curing that. That one, every effort would have been geared of government and even backbenchers to cure that.
And
I tell you,
sure he would
there
not
is no
need
way
to buy, to spend money to buy people to vote.
Is that the norm?
So Patrick, I was completing.
Yes, because I also want to involve Ugandans who are watching
You have
tonight.
ministers who are running up all over the country, making rallies, but telling others, you're not supposed to hold the rallies. We have a situation where your competitors go, police is only against people power, that their job is to stop people power from gathering. The rest are free to carry on. You have a situation that somebody who hosted Honorable Chagulanyi, a journalist who hosted Honorable Chagulanyi, was kidnapped the other day. Now, that is the situation, that people want to use this for their own benefit, not for the benefit of the country. So that's why for us, we said, we are not going to wait for when government will choose to say, go and compete for power. We are already there. And thank God for Ugandans, they just discovered that these guys are not serious about COVID. These guys are just playing their game. That's why Ugandans are out there. And it's very unfortunate that because government has not been serious on what they preach, Ugandans have also chosen not to be serious at all about this COVID.
Okay, gentlemen.
And they will go and engage in elections in an open way.
Let me open the lines so that you too can be a part of this discussion. The numbers are already on your screen. Call us, tell us your name, where you are, and if you have a question directed to a particular individual here among my guests, please say so, and make it brief and respectful.
Hello.
Yes, we have a call online. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Ankton. I am calling from Chebandonsova.
You are on air, actually.
Now, firstly, I've gotten another reason why I might dislike Mr. Museveni. Making Ssekikuubo look like the way he's been looking today. You know, he's a man I respect very much. But he tried, but whatever he could try, he couldn't explain. Because you see, he's having a problem. He doesn't want to give away President Museveni, and he said directly that this is not a good person, and what they did to us was not good, because he still is chairman. And yet inside him, he's burning and he's dying because he knows he was done very bad. So that makes it very bad. But let me talk about COVID. Techniques, and there's what we call correlation when you are studying relationships. I have not seen a relationship between a lockdown and slowing COVID, because the countries that you are talking about there, like South Africa, they have been in lockdowns forever, and COVID has been increasing. And yet there is a country near ourselves here, which is Tanzania, which never went through all that nonsense. And they clearly find, you know, at the beginning, people came up with fallacies about people being buried at night, which never made sense, because you think about it. A COVID is a very aggressive disease that when it catches you, you suffocate, you can't breathe. So you cannot die inside the house. They have to run you to the dispensary. And if they run you or to a hospital, a clinic, whatever it is, they will realize that you are badly off. They will run you to a center. So which means all the people who are badly off must be collected at the center, and they are in thousands. There must have been pictures and videos showing them lamenting and mourning and crying. None. They were only showing people who were being buried at night, who we didn't know which place in which they were being buried. Tanzania even opened the airports and let in people, meaning also international journalists were also entering. But nobody produced a single picture of where these people were. So that was clear propaganda.
Okay, unfortunately, the line to our caller there has cut off, but at least you made your case. We thank you so much. Let me pick another call online. Hello.
Kamara.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Our caller there has cut off, but at least you made your case. We thank you so much. Let me.
Yes, you're on air. Your name, sir?
Yes, I'm Andrew calling from Mengo.
Andrew in Mengo, you are on air.
Yeah, my question goes to you. You promised us to host Bobby Kyagulanyi, but we are seeing Barnabas mutilated. What's going on with no explanation?
Okay, I think you deserve an explanation. Yes, true, we invited the Honorable Kyagulanyi, and yes, he had confirmed to come, but in the evening of today, he opted out for some reasons that he hasn't given. So he was saying he was unable to make it in the studios tonight, and that's why he's not here. And because he didn't make it, so we had to look for an alternative and bring other people who could be available. And I think even what we have discussed is equally important. That's what happened. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Hello. Okay. Looks like I'm having trouble there with the lines, but I'm going to try maybe two more, and after that I'll be giving my guests time to make their concluding arguments. Hello? Hello? I have a call online. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Nachigos. I'm calling from Rosera.
You're on air.
I'm happy to go through, by the way. I'm very excited.
We are also happy to hear your voice.
I have a problem with the guests you brought.
Okay.
They're hypocrites. They're useless. I don't know why we even, I don't know, those constituents that like vote for them, they have problems. They are hypocrites. I really regret the day I was, born in this country.
Oh my God.
Because people are not straightforward. People are hypocrites. They don't want to see the good of the country.
I hear your
I'm
point.
very disappointed in our country and everything. I'm a younger generation, but I feel I have a lot of anger. I have a lot of disappointment. I've not seen anything good in this government.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. I'll hear you. They will respond to you, and that's why they are here, and that's why we have this platform, so that you can have an interaction. Let me take maybe two more, and then my guests will respond. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Samuel Jamil from Mukono.
So John Mary Mukono, you're on air.
I want to ask the honorables, the NRM rebel MPs, like they were called before, have the things that they advocated for at first changed?
That's a good one.
Because everything is going the other way. The country is in a mess. And people here are here putting on suits, praising their own radio stations. Yet most of us, the youth, have gotten nothing out of this country. Now, the one was looking at Honorable Tinkasimire answering questions. It's really disappointing that the people we would copy, people who would give us a way forward, they're just meandering. Honorable Kyagulanyi has come up to give us that move.
All right. Thank you very much, our caller there from Okono. I'm going to take the last caller, and my producer is telling me quite a number of you would want to take part. Hello? Okay. Just one more try. I'll take the very last caller online. Hello? Hello? Okay.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right. Looks like we're having an issue there, connecting our callers. So I will ask, beginning with you, Honorable Barnabas, you can respond to the callers, but also make your concluding remark.
Well, I want to state that I do not regret anything currently what is going on, because I have done my part, and I am still committed to doing my part. I find some callers sometimes very, very unfair, because they only believe that for you to fight for them, you must not be on the side where President Museveni is. Of course, I share in their disappointment, because President Museveni has promised so many things on earth, and it has not reached to these Ugandans. But to us, we who have been carrying their banner, I want to say we have not dropped their banner. Even you tell me what is going to happen if all of us leave President Museveni and say we are going this side. He can choose full time to use tear gas against everybody, and how many these young boys and girls, or young men and women, calling in and disappointed, how many have joined Honorable Robert to suffer the fate he's going through? None of them. None of them. They should ask us what is our strategy. We have told them ours is an internal engagement, and it is a struggle. It is going to go on. Whether you despise us or not, for us we have an internal engagement. And when we are within the party, we will be open to tell President Museveni what is on our mind. And when we met him, we actually told him it was very, very unfortunate that our meeting of 3-4 hours was reduced into an apology, which was merely an icebreaker. My name is Barnabas. Every unfortunate churches have been closed, but every time I would go for mass, I would have an opportunity to go for a confession. To go for a confession. It does not mean that when you do a confession, you have lost sight of everything. Now you are no.
So you did a confession in Entebbe?
That's what you want to say.
I'm asking.
Yeah? I am only saying that saying sorry is part of human life. It's part of human life.
Okay.
And that does not mean that you lose sight. Even if the apology was tendered, it does not make us lose sight of what we are dealing with. We have said it, and we will continue to fight for it. I have enumerated them. The young man in the Chewandu is disappointed the Ugandans don't have even anything to eat. I have told them we shall not tolerate that we continue to lead as NRM when Ugandans do not have decent housing, when Ugandans do not have decent 3 meals in a day, when Ugandans are struggling to pay fees for their children. Ugandans should have a capacity to pay fees for their children from primary one up to when the children finish primary education.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's why that is our struggle.
All right,
Yes.
Honorable Theodore, your concluding remark.
Yes, Patrick, I thank the callers, Acton from Chebando and Nachigonya from Luzira. I believe they are not below 18. This is the opportunity as well. You see, in time and history, people make a contribution. If you feel this group wasn't doing well, don't lament. This is an opportunity. Whether you can go through the youth structures or come in your own right and capacity. At least the way they sound, they must be possessing the minimum qualifications. But having said that, this has been our contribution. Yes, let's agree from that point of view. And I wanted to add that each generation has a mission. Have you, Nachigonyas of this world, set your mission? If this group has disappointed you, how do you move on? But the struggle in this country has been work in progress. At a particular stage, then another one takes over with new strokes and dances. Some people leave the floor. But ours has been the engagement. Number two, it's not that Museveni is totally bad. In total, therefore nothing positive out of him. You pick out the best, but you aspire for more. It's not to say that we are satisfied with the status quo. No, but it's work in progress. For you to say that President Museveni has been a total failure, a waste to this country, I don't think you are being fair. Probably what we should do now, having seen what is there, can we build on from there and demand for more?
All right.
And I would imagine that would be the best way of engagement. And number two, one can choose to take a position of saying, you engage or I'm out.
All right.
And I've never been, for instance, myself, I've never disassociated from the NRM, from the movement.
I've not heard that from you before.
And therefore, let the young generation also have set their mission.
Your part is done. Your time is gone. Yeah, Patrick, very briefly, your parting shot.
I know very many Ugandans are disappointed. I know very many Ugandans they are looking for a magic stone or something magic to use to ensure that President Museveni ends his rule in this country. There is an opportunity in 2021, election time. We do not want young people to think about guns, because guns will deliver the same kind of leadership, the same way this regime is. We are calling upon all Ugandans who want to see change in this country. I am calling upon all of you. Do not sit down. Believe in yourself. Trust in yourself. There is Honorable Kyagulanyi who is offering leadership. He is feeling a leadership virtue in this country to ensure that we amass this demographic dividend that we have. We have 80% of Ugandans below 30 years. And if every Ugandan who is below 30 years can believe that we can do this, 80% of you can really make a difference. If you picked them, and every Ugandan, wherever you are. My sister who is coming from, the lady is coming from Luzira, who was speaking with a lot of hunger, that is not going to help. Speak to your colleagues, speak to others, and say, let us work together to ensure that the leadership of President Museveni do not go ahead, because our hope in his leadership to inspire us as Ugandans, to move us forward, to move us to new directions, the hope is slim. He has made his contribution, and we appreciate that. But going ahead, our future is not with him. Let us look at ourselves as Ugandans, and we choose leaders by ourselves. And we can make that strong statement, the one we desired, by desiring not to change Article 102B. The opportunity is here. Move with us, let us work together, and make sure that we make the change that we want. Everyone should make a contribution.
Thank you, gentlemen. Honorable Barnabas, Honorable Theodore, and Patrick. We thank you very much for your time, and we value your contribution, and we appreciate your insights. But Theodore, you have something you want to say.
Yes, not to say that we are complacent.
No.
Certainly we look, there is still a deficit, because in our lifetime we had thought we would be seeing a peaceful transition. But how we achieve that now is a question for each and every one of us to see how we can contribute to that.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate your insights. And maybe how do I conclude this? Ugandans, if you can just stand in the mirror, ask that man or woman you see in the mirror, from your soul, what do you need for our country? What do you really need for our country? And the voice you hear, I suppose, will lead you to choose the leader that we desire. Even in biblical times, in times like these, there was a David. Yeah. Even there was a Daniel. Oh, yeah. Great women like Deborah and Esther. Maybe our moment is going to come. But what I know, we have one country called Uganda. We can choose two things, to destroy it or to build it. But I beseech you, Ugandans, let's choose to build Uganda because it's our home. Good night, and thank you for your great company.